I'm going to start out with just talking about China here for maybe, for a few minutes here. I do want to kind of share you my thoughts as to why I'm not really looking to get into Chinese stocks. And it doesn't mean that the technicals are bad or anything. Actually, matter of fact, I think it's quite the opposite. I actually think that the technical is actually getting better in terms of Chinese stocks, but there's a reason why I'm not necessarily entering that. And part of the reason is if you just compare SPX, and if I add the Hang Seng Index fund, there's a reason that I'm not entering, because if you just look at the trend, like I'd rather stay in the US. There are going to be periods where Chinese stocks are going to outperform, and when it does, it's incredible, right? But every single time when Chinese stocks go up, US stocks also go up. This is S&P 500 here in the blue, and this orange right here is the Hang Seng Index fund. So every single time when you have Hang Seng going up, US stocks goes up, right? The problem is when the Hang Seng goes down, US stocks can also go up, but whenever the US stock goes down, Hang Seng always goes down. Like there's almost like no exception. Whenever US stock goes down, Hang Seng goes down. And whenever US stock goes up, Hang Seng can still go down, right? So is that always going to be the case? Is Chinese stocks going to make a comeback and eventually end up outperforming for a longer term? I don't know. All I know is that if Chinese government, if they're printing money, if there's going to be increase in global liquidity, I'm pretty sure that the money is going to flow into like US stocks, because they're probably going to have a lot of outflow from China over to the US. And there's always going to be money pouring into Bitcoin. So I think that, to have Bitcoin exposure probably is a good idea if you're suspecting Chinese liquidity is going to increase, and it's going to end up increasing, global liquidity overall. This is just a chart to kind of give you an idea. Like I don't care about the politics. I don't care about all that. Like I'm apolitical when it comes to trying to analyze this kind of stuff. There are a lot of people who feel very strongly about it. I can totally see why, but I'm staying out of that. All I'm really saying is that even though the technicals are looking better for the Hang Seng, I still get worried. Like if you look at Hang Seng, actually, you can see that it does have a little bit of like a trend line over here during the entire bear market. I mean, the bear market already started over here, but if you look at over here, there's a trend line over here, and it's starting to break out off of it. It does have a little bit of very nice, kind of like Adam and Eve kind of look to it, but none of this has to necessarily work out, right? So I don't know. I mean, if there's increase in global liquidity, there's no doubt at all in my mind that like the U.S. is having a bull market, on the Nasdaq, on the S&P 500. Even small caps are really starting to kind of pick up. So there's a reason why I'm not in it. Now, there are a lot of Chinese stocks that just recently have made a lot of gains, and I do think that BABA actually is starting to actually look pretty good. But again, I'm not really going to enter in it because I don't feel that strongly about it. Just because I think there's no sure thing here. I mean, it looks like it's a borrowing formation, but there's no sure thing here. And if you look at the 20-month moving average, it's actually looking better. Like I was worried about the 20-month moving average continue to serve as resistance, but actually it's starting to flatten, and it looks like it's challenged the 20-month moving average once, twice, and perhaps a third time over here. Hey, what's going on? It's trying to challenge it a third time over here, right? But it's still right at resistance. I mean, granted, it's flattening, so I think it's probably going to be a lot weaker resistance as it was down here, as it was really downtrending. It's going to be pretty strong resistance. Sure enough, got rejected. Bam, bam, right? Is the third time going to be a charm? Possible. Can you potentially look at maybe a breakout and go up to triple digits? That's possible, considering how long it's been accumulating or how long it's been going sideways over here. But I just like it would be more like a trade. Like it can go up a lot higher, but it'd be more like a trade to me. And I'm okay. I'm just going to wait for money to flow into U.S. equities and flow into Bitcoin this cycle. That's kind of how I feel about it. There are a couple other stocks that are pretty hot too. There are some bottoming-ish kind of look to NEO, but I don't feel too strongly about going to NEO because the 20-month moving average is still slamming down like that. You do have like a little hammer bottom over here, which is generally a pretty good hammer bottom candle. But you also have these hammer bottoms over here that didn't really work out, right? So you're still gonna have a lot more resistance. You have Bollinger Band squeezing, so maybe there's some trend change coming soon. It's gonna be pretty strong, but I'm not really seeing it. Same thing with XPEF, although for Xpeng actually is flattening out here at the 20-minute moving average, so it's actually looking pretty good. One Chinese stock is actually looking pretty good is actually Pinduoduo PDD. But anyway, like there are some better looking. I still wouldn't enter JD. It still look pretty down and still going to have a lot of resistance. So I'm a little bit worrisome about Chinese stocks. So I'm not really sure whether or not this is something I want to enter. If you want to enter as a trade, that's fine. I just there's always some things to consider in terms of getting bullish at resistance. I just generally don't like that. But I like the volume. I mean, this volume is very, very nice, and I like the fact that it's getting closer and closer to the 20-minute moving average. I like it's starting to curl, a little bit flat over here a little bit. So there are a lot of things maybe to start to like about it. But if I enter, it would be more for a trade. I wouldn't stay for it for a long time because of like S&P 500, because of like NASDAQ and, because of Bitcoin. So